seconds. It just did not want to go. But it's live, L. The red light is on. It's Friday. It's MMA Weekly Roundup / Ben and Bananas. Like, we're going to do both. We apologize. I apologize, guys, for Wednesday night. I was a little under the weather. It is what it is. But we're going to talk some fights now. We're going to do our thing Friday afternoon. L. Dawson, how are you, friend?
I'm good. I was hurting on Wednesday too, so definitely better today.
There we go. It was a team effort of not doing it. But all right. I love. I think the MMA world and the Fight Bananas community has been complaining about so many Apex shows and what that does and lackluster that could be. Guys, we're at UFC St. Louis. Maybe the main event's not one of the most sexiest main events, but the card is absolutely stacked from bottom to top. A lot of great fights. I even have a T-shirt of one of the fighters on it who came on this great show. There's a ton to get to, and I just think let's just kind of like give it up to St. Louis. I think St. Louis is going to bring it. St. Louis, Missouri. I can't wait for this fight night. What's the first thing when I say we have a fight night tomorrow night in St. Louis?
That makes me excited because that means a lot of fighters that I know. I'm a Missouri girl. I know, like, I follow a lot of these guys. I know some of them personally. Michael Johnson's not on the card, which is a bummer because I really wanted to see him fight Matt Frevola, but he got injured, I believe. So, and they just couldn't find a replacement for Matt Frevola. So that was kind of a shame to not see him on the card because he is a St. Louis guy. And he was a big deal when I was first starting as an amateur in Missouri. But it's still always fun. It's always fun to see them go back to the Midwest. We have other St. Louis guys on the card like Charles Johnson, Sean Woodson. I've got teammates on the card, Mateusz Rembetsky and Nascimento in the main event as well. Yeah. So I'm pumped for this fight night. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I like it. Let's just kind of start there at the top. You mentioned your teammate, main event as a underdog. I like him, Mel. I'm just going to be straight up and blunt with you. I like him as the dog. I think he can win the fight 4 different ways. He can win the fight via TKO, a massive overhand right. He can win the fight via submission. I know it's hard to submit Derek Lewis. We saw Almeida a couple fights ago. But then, of course, maybe more likely than anything, we can see a 5-round, elongated fight with grappling and against the fence. I think Rodrigo could win this fight 4 or 5 different ways. And plus 130, plus 140, I like it. I'm going there.
I like it. I like it, too. He's one of the many underdogs that I love on this card. Like, there are several. I think it's there's a lot of good value on this card for sure.
Cool. All right, let's start. That's there. Give us another, kind of best bet. I know we're doing a little bit of the Bet and Banana style, but what's a fight or an over under or something that you love that people are not really talking about, you want to bring more eyes to if you want to bet on this card?
Like I was saying, this is a night for underdogs. And one of the underdogs I like the most, and I've noticed the lines are changing, so I'm not the only one, is Charles Johnson over Jake Hadley. Charles Johnson has a maybe not the best UFC record, but if you really look at the pedigree of fighters that he has fought at flyweight in the UFC and how well he's done and how durable he's been against that level of competition, fighting guys like Cody Durden, going 3 rounds with Muhammad Makayev, and then the absolute amazing performance we saw him put on against Maxim in his last fight. I think Charles Johnson gets overlooked a lot. He is incredibly durable. He's very long. He's very difficult to fight. And I think the guys who tend to be too much for him are really, really high-level wrestlers. And while Jake Hadley has fantastic jiu-jitsu and he is dangerous on the feet, I don't know that he has the wrestling to implement a game plan like Muhammad Makayev or Cody Durden did against Charles Johnson. And we've seen Hadley really struggle being the nail in fights like he did against Durden. And Charles Johnson, he just doesn't go away. He's in his hometown, on his home turf. The crowd's going to be behind him. He's such an awkward style to fight. And I think Hadley needs to win this fight by finish. And I don't see him finishing Charles Johnson. He's so durable and long and tough. I love him here. And I would get him soon because it looks like he might not be an underdog for much longer. He's already at plus 108.
Right. Nailed it. When I first saw the fight, it's one of those things, you see the fight, and when the fight was announced, I'm like, oh, I think I like Jack. I just think he's maybe a better overall mixed martial artist. I'm like, I'm high on Jack in his career, but then you just got to, so many things are into it. Let's just be honest. It's a UFC St. Louis card. It's a fight night card. If Charles Johnson is going to be hyped. Like Charles Johnson, and while for this one, I think we can maybe see a finish too by Charles Johnson.
Really?
I don't know. I think we
I
can.
expect him to win a pretty decisive decision. I think
Okay.
he'll have a slower first round. Charles Johnson gets better as the fight goes on.
Right,
and normally he throws away the first round. Like usually we never see him do well in a first round. And then against Maxim, he looked good all the rounds. I was like, dang, like he's made some improvements. Like, and I could see Hadley having a really good first round, but if he can't get him down or put him away early, I think Charles Johnson's momentum just builds and builds. I would love to a him by decision. I think is a good play as well.
Love that. Two more fights I definitely want to talk about, give you what I'm thinking. But before I do that, I don't know if you see over my left shoulder, I love ordering pictures. I do it like every 6 months from like Snapfish. I don't know if anyone else orders pictures. I know it's like 2024, but I love getting the 8x10s. And there's one of Maddie and I from Game Bread, one of my favorite pictures ever. I love. And then there's a Mr. Dawson and myself, another picture I love. Just want to shout that out real quick. Two brand new pictures for the background.
And I'm not in either of them, guys.
Wait.
They said, wait, yes, you are. That's the best picture of the three of us by far.
Yeah, it really is. Picture. Look at that picture. Dude, family right there. Family.
Look how good we look.
Frames are super expensive. I can only frame so much at a time. Come on.
No, they are expensive. It's weird.
They are. Like, they're stupidly expensive. Go on Amazon, look up 8x10 black frames. It's not good. All right, two fights I like. One, I'm wearing the T-shirt, showing some love. I think we might have her come on Tuesday after if she's healthy enough. JJ Aldrich, dude, like Veronica Hardy. I think we talked about her a couple times. Dude, if you look through JJ's wins, she has really good wins in the UFC. And then you ready for this one? She has great losses. Like her losses are top 5 or championship losses. She has
high level girls.
Yeah. And me personally, I don't have Veronica on that level, not even in that galaxy. I think JJ will get the job done.
I like that pick a lot too. I do.
Sean, L equals MVP.
Sean,
so I like JJ. Dude, Sean just posted yesterday. He got the Dustin Poirier hot sauce. I mailed it to him a couple days ago. He shouted us out. Dude, Sean is the man. Much love to our man, Sean Sterling. So I like JJ a lot. And then the other one, and this stinks to say it because I want him on the show really soon. He's great to talk to. He was on the Fight Bananas show live maybe 8 weeks ago, is Chase Hooper. I like Slava Claus in this spot. I don't know. I think he's had really tough matchups. To me, he is such a better striker than Chase Hooper. And I think he can be very patient. I don't think he needs to force anything because when he fought Mike Davis, who is a better grappler than Slava Claus, but also Mike Davis is a dangerous striker as well. So you can't be patient and sometimes technical. If Mike Davis is blitzing you, you got to go. And when you go, you get grappled. I think Slava Claus can move, can dance. I can see low kicks. I can see jabs. I think Slava Claus gets the job done. The last thing I looked at, he was minus 130. It's like, what? Like, I thought he'd be like minus 250. I really did.
Yeah, no, I think that's really good value too. The dude's never been finished. And I think Chase Hooper is very dangerous, but I think most of the time his way to win fights is to get a submission. I think he's world-class at taking an ass whooping and coming back and finding a sub. I think that's going to be really hard to do against Slava Claus. He's a super durable guy. He's well-rounded. He has good feet. I agree with you.
Okay. So I'm telling you, there's it's such a good card. Who else? There was one other one that I liked a lot. But so you mentioned a couple underdogs. Give us one else.
Yeah. I don't hate Terrence McKinney as a dog either.
Me too. That was the other one. Plus 140, just a first round blitz. First round blitz, get the win and get out.
It definitely it's either that or he's losing a decision or getting finished in the second round more likely. But he's so dangerous in that first round. And Rubovic, I like him. I think he's very good, but I don't know that he's been super, super tested yet. So I don't hate that either. I think there's some value in that. I have kind of not really, I don't know if it's shocking, but I feel like it might be a lukewarm take. I think Mateusz Rembecki is going to win by decision. I don't think he's going to finish Diego Ferreira. I think Ferreira, he's a veteran and he's got such high level jiu-jitsu. Mateusz is so good. So I'm like, maybe he'll end up subbing him, but at -510, I don't think the value's there, even though he's a lock. But Fajeda's kind of a stud. People forget about him because he's been so inactive. But
his name was, let's just be honest, Ellen, you can tell us more than you want to or less. I totally get it. Diego's name and Grant's name has been close of being matched up for years, it seems like. Yeah, there
we have literally heard, we have the Diego fight. We've heard that like 5 times in this house. I swear. It happens like every 3 months, Diego Fajeda's name comes up and then goes away. And I don't think it's his fault either. Like from Grant's experience, Diego wanted the fight as well. It just like never worked out on the UFC's end for whatever reason. Because I know they wanted to fight each other, but maybe we'll see it after this matchup. I don't know. But I think Mateusz, I think he'll do well on the feet, land a lot of powerful strikes. Obviously, Fajeda has some power. He put away Michael Johnson in a fight that he was losing. So it's I really do think that that he can nullify enough of Rembetsky's wrestling on the ground to not get subbed. And I think Mateusz will also have to be really careful because Diego has insanely high level jiu-jitsu. Now I will say it's kind of hard to triangle somebody who doesn't have a neck. So I don't know that there's really a whole lot of risk of him getting subbed, like Diego subbing him off his back. But I could see him just being a little more conscious of that and that chewing up a lot of clock time. So I think him by decision is the prop to get some value out of Mateusz. But
I like it.
Yeah, I don't hate Ruzabov either. I'm kind of leaning Buckley. Buckley's a good fighter. I don't like the dude, but Buckley's a damn good fighter. And he's so gifted athletically.
I just have to see it. I have to see Boyzov as a welterweight. You know, I got to see it before betting on him. He hasn't been a welterweight in 12, 14 fights. Did I hear right? Like it's been.
Wow. I'll look it up. Yeah. That sounds right, though.
Yeah, it's a long time.
That is a long time. Yeah, that's true.
Plus 185.
He's not a super big guy, though. Like, he doesn't look big.
No, I agree, but it's just like, you know this. Like sometimes you feel different at a higher weight or lower weight. We literally just talked to Ross Levine on Tuesday, and he didn't like himself at light heavyweight. You know, for Karate Combat, it's just sometimes you just need to. I'm not going to bet on that fight because I just want to see it to believe it. I think Boyzov is the better fighter, but
it hasn't been too long. 2021, he was.
Oh, okay.
And then he made 175 in 2021 as well. So it's not like a super long time, but like he's still been at middleweight for like 7 fights. Like
7 fights. And let's be honest, that was on the, real. And I hear that he did fight good guys there, but on the regional scene, it's different from your fight in a middleweight in the UFC to a middleweight to a welt,
and a middleweight like Buckley, who's just a tank. He's a tank. He's got power. He can wrestle. He's
going to be chinny? I don't know.
Who knows? And he's in his hometown too.
Yes.
I don't know that the crowd's going to have his back as much as Charles Johnson, but he's in his hometown, on his turf. He's at least going to have some friends there.
Dude, 3 things about Elle Dawson. She's going to make great food content and put it on social media. 2, her analyst skills are top notch. And 3, she doesn't like Buckley. We're just going to be honest here on the show, okay? It is what it is. It is. Oh, gosh. That's so funny. Let's see. Do
Sean
we give...
asking about Menefield. Ooh.
A chance of long dog or something. He's got a chance. So, for how you state the question, I would answer of course he has a chance. He has power, but Oberg is one of my favorites on the card. I like Carlos a lot in that spot.
I do too. I'm really torn on this. I feel like Menefield has a ton of potential. Like we've seen him.
You are a sucker for built African-American athletic fighters in the UFC. You are a sucker. You think they're all going to be okay.
Should be so great, Dave. I wanted it because they have gifts. Because they have stuff you can't learn and stuff you can't teach. When they see an athlete like that, that's special. Like
I agree.
I feel like anybody can learn like a technique. When you have a gift like that, I think those are really special athletes,
No, I agree with you, but I hear this all the time, and it's after the first round, it starts to become like a grit competition or a mental competition, or like, some of those guys just don't have it, and some.
Menifield has some good wins. Like Dustin Jacoby is a great win.
It is a good win. It is a good win.
Jacoby's a good kickboxer, and like
Yeah.
Carlos Hjulberg is really talented, but he hasn't fought.
No, I agree. I think I picked Jacoby over Olberg if they fight right now.
Oh, I would.
Yeah.
Just the styles. I think Jacoby can stay safe, from the power. And Menifield isn't like super chinny either. What?
That's a good question.
Oh yeah, she don't like. Yeah, but that one's personal. Funny. That one's personal.
Yeah, that's funny. Don't meet your heroes. L. Dawson says, "Don't meet your heroes." Chris Weidman.
I bet Phil Hawes is awesome. I bet Phil Hawes would be the coolest dude ever.
No, I met Phil Hawes.
You come on our show.
Yeah, dude. I met Phil Hawes 3-4 times. I did an interview with him at Fusion XL. Phil Hawes is awesome. He was so fun and just like, oh, he's definitely down. Yeah, Phil Hawes is a good dude. Phil's good dude. All right.
I'm torn on this one. I say take plus money on this fight.
Okay. There you go.
Because I think the line should be closer.
I agree. I got two fun things for you, Elle. If you're done with UFC St. Louis, I got two fun debatable topics. Or if you have anything else on St. Louis, I'll let you run with it.
No, I think we hit almost the whole card.
Yeah, cool.
Woodson and Alex Caceres is interesting.
Good fight.
I think Woodson should win that fight, but Alex Caceres has a way of like finding weird spots to hit you because his legs are twice as long as they're supposed to be. So it's like Alex Caceres' legs versus Sean Woodson's arms, which are also twice as long as they're supposed to be. So it's just a fun matchup. I don't really have a analysis or pick on that. But I will say this. I thought that Charles Jourdain would do much better with Sean Woodson. I thought that he would have the cleaner striking, but Woodson's boxing was just really, really sharp and his movement was so good. And I could see a similar outcome with Alex Caceres missing a lot like Jourdain was and kind of having to chase Woodson around the cage a bit. And once again, in hometown, St. Louis, but I don't know, Alex Caceres is plus 190 as a dog. If you're a Caceres fan, like it's not bad value there.
Definitely not. And I feel like we mentioned all 4 or 5 of the St. Louis guys. To me, right, it's not like a 0-2 thing. I don't think they're all going to win. Like some of them are betting favorites. It's not like they matched Patty and Molly McCann against 2 cans. Like they literally didn't do that. These are all good fights. Yeah. So, some of them will win, some of them will lose. And I'm excited to see it. All right, 2 fun things. One thing we posted this morning, I saw yesterday. I wasn't sure if I was going to play that angle. Elle and I talked about it off air, but let's talk about it on air. It's what we do. What do you feel? So the video that's out of, dude, it looked like it's at least 4 years old of Sugar Sean O'Malley, the UFC Bantamweight Championship, and Alex Pantoja, the UFC Flyweight Championship. It looks like they're sparring. And you never know. And I hear so many stories sparring. Sometimes guys are literally working on a jab. Like that's all they're doing is working on a jab. I hear sometimes they want to get inside the phone booth and maybe they're not good at it, but we're practicing. That's what they're doing in sparring and so on and so on. And so it's kind of hard to put something, on air about sparring because it's literally practice, right? But what do you feel? And with that being said, Sugar Sean O'Malley kind of kicked Pantoja to the body, kind of danced for 5 more seconds, dropped and said, hey, timeout. Let's take a break. That didn't feel good. What do you feel, Elle, with someone who's at American Top Team, one of the best gyms in the world, if not the best? What do you feel about sparring video that gets out there to the public? What's your first take?
One of the reasons American Top Team has the amazing culture that they have is because we don't do shit like that. Yeah. I think that it's obviously this is a little bit different. Sean O'Malley and Pantoja aren't teammates. So it's like clearly their camp wanted to release a very short clip, not the entire footage, but a very short clip where Pantoja got hurt sparring somebody that's a weight class heavier than him. Like it is what it is. I disagree, Sean. It is a big deal. It's a very big deal. It's sparring is it's like getting extra film on your opponents. If it's like full film, like I don't think this clip is a big deal. Obviously, Sean O'Malley's camp wanted it out, whatever. Like that's fine. They wanted this clip out. Like you said, it's really old. It's a very short clip. It is what it is. Pantoja, I don't think there's any shame in getting hurt by somebody a weight class heavier than you in the gym either.
Yeah.
But it happened. They wanted it out there. I don't mind fighters talking trash to each other. I don't mind
Oh yeah.
fighters
Yeah.
doing this kind of stuff if it kind of looks like they're wanting to build that fight for some reason.
Right. I was going to ask you that. Is that why? Is that, sometimes, trash talking is trash talking. They are only one weight class apart. Pantoja just had a title defense. There's not a lot of big flyweights down there or names to make a big fight. Is O'Malley saying, hey, if I get by Marab, maybe I don't want to fight a Sandhagen right away, or maybe I don't want to fight a Umar right away. How about I fight Pantoja in this kind of like, big fight, like a big time fight? Is that what they're trying to do?
Maybe that's what, like, and here's what I'll say about that. Like Queen said, trash talk is a part of fighting. And I totally agree with you, Queen. The difference is when coaches start talking trash. I think that's weird.
Yeah.
I think that's super weird. You're not the athlete. You're not selling the fight. I don't know. I've never worked with a coach that does that. I wouldn't want to work with a coach that does that, because if I am the one talking the trash about my fight upcoming, I can control that narrative. Like, right. What if you say something that's really off color that I wouldn't have want connected to me? It's just like an O'Malley's coach, not Nick Sick, the other dude who looks a lot like Nick Sick, whose name I cannot remember. But like, he is
Canelo's twin.
Yes, way too involved on Twitter for a coach.
What's his name, guys? Put his name in the comments.
You know who I'm talking about, though.
Oh yeah.
He's been going in
it with the podcast together.
But like, yeah, he is way too active on Twitter for a coach. Like, it's like you wish you'd had a career where you got to talk smack, but nobody cared about your fights, is how it feels. It's like, come on, like, just chill. Let the fighters have their back and forth. And I agree with what Aljo said. Tim Welsh. Thank you, Sean Sterling. Yeah. Sean always coming through. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a little much.
Real quick, I'm going to talk some trash to Sean real quick. This is some boys talking trash to each other. I'm a diehard New York Knicks fan. We're 2-0 against the Indiana Pacers. We have so many guys injured. Literally, our second best guy is injured. Our backup center is injured. Our best defender is injured. We're all injured. I just hope we get healthy enough to play the Cavs now in the Eastern Conference Finals, because Boston lost last night in Game 2 in Boston. Come on, Sean. Where are you at, buddy? Where are you at? Hey, Queen, thank you. Good morning to you. Good morning. All right, that's my trash talk on NBA. We're back to MMA. I'm sorry.
All right. I have no idea what you just said. It's like another language. No, let's get back to the only sport that matters. But I don't know. I think it's a little weird, but not the release of the video. I don't really care. Like, I think it's weird to release total rounds. I think that's super strange when people do that.
Yeah, for sure.
And if you're training with somebody that wants to release your rounds, like, I don't know. That's fucking weird. It's just weird. It's crappy. It's like, if you're going to fight these people, okay, cool. Like, when we fight, people will find out who's better. If you're not going to fight these people, then it's just like a weird ego. Look what I did. Like, and if it's your teammates, it's super crappy. Like, if you
that's the point. Yeah. Like, you're agreeing to a practice fight. Am I allowed to say that? Is that fair? Is that
basically? It depends. But when you're sparring hard, yes, it is a simulated fight. The difference is we're wearing shin guards and slightly bigger gloves. Like that's about it,
Right. And I just feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm really wrong on this, and maybe sparring is more like, oh, I'm just going to go after it. I would feel like it's a practice simulated of it. And it's like, whatever. If Jorge wants to practice the knee against Ben Askren, that wasn't the first time he ever threw that knee. Like, that is a legitimate
you don't practice that against people, though.
Okay, bad example. But do you know what I mean? Like, hey, I want to work on the jab on this fight. I'm trying to get my jab better. Whatever.
No, for sure. And like, you'll have rounds that don't look as good because you're trying to work on something specifically, or your partner's just a jerk. Like, those happen too, where it's like, I'm not going that hard and this person's still trying to.
I was going to say that. How many times is that? It's like, if you guys both go to 100 in a fight, you're going to see sometimes at practice, hey guys, I'm going 50%. I don't want to.
Some people are gym heroes. Some people are like amazing in the gym and just aren't good in fights. Obviously, Sean O'Malley is not an example of that. I'm just like speaking generally, but like
Yeah.
there are gym heroes too. There are people who are really good in the gym that just can never quite put it together in fights. That happens as well. But yeah, I don't know. It's it is what it is. It's out there. I don't think
Yeah.
there's a problem with them releasing that clip. It's obviously they want to stir the pot. That's their brand. That's Sean O'Malley's brand, is stirring the pot,
Yeah.
is what it is. I don't think they're going to end up fighting. I don't think that fight makes sense. I don't,
I don't-
unless Pantoja is like, I'm so bored, I've wiped out the whole division, let's go up. But now we're about to see Mikhailov and Kopp. So I feel like this is a perfect time for Pantoja to take a much needed break that he very much deserves, because he's been
Yeah.
crazy active since winning the belt. He's literally defended his belt twice, and like he's fought 3 times for championship in less than a year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
or right about a year. So it's like, I feel like that's fair for him to take a break, wait for that fight to happen, and then fight the winner of that. I think that makes more sense. I agree. Somebody's like, Sean said he's not going to go down. Of course not. There's no way Sean O'Malley's making flyweight.
No.
If he wants to be a double champ, he's going to have to go up. So like, does it
Yeah.
really help him to have Pantoja come up, you know?
It could. You never know. Like I said, if this really, dude, it's wild, and I say this all the time about MMA media. It's wild. Sometimes we create the fights. Like if we're super intrigued about Pantoja and O'Malley, and this thing flies, like the UFC will take. I literally talk to a promoter, and he talks to some big people, and sometimes it's like, wow, like they didn't think this would happen, but DDP and Izzy, like the fans are talking that into existence. It's going to happen. Whatever.
No, I agree.
By the way, if you click that button, thank you. I was going to throw this out there. Guys, one thing we're doing really cool is that, so on the show, I understand on Tuesdays, it's like 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Sometimes you can't watch the whole thing. If you go back on our YouTube channel, we have just the Grant Dawson interview, just the Jillian Savage Robertson interview, just the Dustin Poirier interview. I did that again with another guy. Like, I'm breaking up each interview. So if you just want to watch that 17 minutes of gold, go back and watch that. There you go. All right. One last thing for you guys. I don't know if you can hear it in me or not. I'm playing it up. I feel like absolute dog crap. I'm just making this work. I literally am sweating. It's not good. Anyways, I got one last thing. I saw, and they 2 of them came up in the last week, and I'm kind of asking a fighter and a wife of a UFC fighter who has been on one of these before. What is your feeling and what is your take on UFC posters? Because on the social media side of stuff and the media side of stuff, people, the fans, absolutely kill the UFC in their poster choices. Of course, UFC 300 was the big one, but the one that just came out was the Conor McGregor Chandler UFC 303. We post it. It gets like one of our most liked, hated posts every time we do it on a big one. Elle, do you give a shit about it? Is it fun? What do you care about posters at all for big UFC events?
I mean, I'm not a collector, so like I don't care what they look like. Yeah, it's not great. It's not their best. You would think like it's yellow. I don't know why it's just yellow. It's kind of lame.
It's like lime green and yellow of Conor McGregor Chandler. Like tell me you couldn't put like an Ireland kind of background behind him, a USA thing behind Chandler. Like, it's in Vegas. Give me the Vegas skyline. Like, it's yellow. It's lime green and yellow.
It's not great. I agree. Like, but they can't all be gold either. Like, we've seen some really awesome posters. We've seen some kind of lame ones. Like, they can't all be gold. I will say there is a base on Instagram that is just, as fans, that just kill the artwork. Like, there are some phenomenal guys out there. So part of me is like, dang, why don't they hire one of these guys to do some of their graphics?
The best in the business is DS Twins MMA. Like, their content is the best. I literally have the t-shirt. It was the UFC 300 poster. I mean, that they made that I bought the shirt on. It's amazing. DS Twins MMA, the best in the business. Their fight posters each week are better than the UFC's. And then not even that. And then they do such a good job of like multiple ones in the week, like a Tail of the Tape or Brazil, like all the Brazil fighters. DS Twins MMA on IG, hats off. They're the best in the biz. Hats off.
Maybe we need them to do a Fight Bananas poster.
Ooh. They actually done 2 in the past.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to
Yeah,
tell anyone
they
that.
kill it.
Yeah, they're the
Kill it.
best. The best.
But yeah, I'm with you.
But back to what one thing you said I will disagree with. And you're like, and they all can't be gold. I think I'm quoting you, I think. And I agree with that. But the two biggest events of the whole year was UFC 300 and the Conor McGregor Michael Chandler, the
Fair
Conor
enough.
McGregor comeback fight. You got to be gold on that. Like
That's fair.
that's what makes Michael Jordan so good, and John Jones and Tiger Woods and Caitlin Clark. Like you can be okay on a Tuesday on one of these things, but if John Jones in a big championship match or Jordan in his prime, you have to be great in that prime. Like don't let that poster out. Like there's got to be people in the room be like, guys, lime green background. Don't let that out.
Yeah. I don't care about the posters. There are guys that collect all of these, and I'm sure they like that's an event they would want a signed poster from. They're probably upset about it. And I can see why, because it's kind of lame for such a big event. If 306s, like if International Fight Weeks, or sorry, not International Fight Week, if a Mexican Independence Day's poster isn't like, then I'll be like, okay, that's fair. Because that one needs to
be
be
the sphere. So you would think maybe the sphere would be in the background. Like
it should be. It should be.
Sugar Sean O'Malley and Marab will be the main event. Like
here with the Mexican flag on it. Like
yeah.
We're doing it for you, UFC. Like just
you can hire us too. You can hire us if you want.
We can't do it, but we can pitch the designs to you.
They have people that has the content that are good. Like I feel like they just need another someone else in the room with an idea. Be like, your UFC 300 poster is just a gold metal thing in the background that says UFC 300. Can we talk about this? Like, oh man, yeah, look at that, $250.
Yeah, if I was gonna spend 250 on it, I would probably want it to look cooler than that. I'm with you on that.
All right, guys, I gave you 32 minutes of my last dying seconds on this earth. I am going to go take medicine. I am going to go lay down. We got a big weekend. We got a birthday party Saturday. We got UFC St. Louis Saturday. Sunday morning, we'll wake up early and praise the good Lord himself. So we got a lot of stuff to do this weekend. I'm going to try to get myself better. They need to keep Val neutral, no Mike Blouse. Oh, no. Oh, Paul Daly thing. A signed Kazmat poster is 500,000 in Saudi currently? That's crazy. So they just released that poster too, the Kazmat Chimaev versus Robert Whitaker. It's decent, but even that, like, dude, it's the first one in Abu Dhabi. Like, you would think, I'm sorry, Saudi Arabia. Apologize. Like, don't you think like the amazing Saudi Arabia background should be it? Like, I don't know.
How are we going to get to that card, Dave? Because we got to go.
Dave, get well. Maybe fall asleep early tonight. Miss your Knicks lose tonight. Sean, we are losing tonight. It's game 3 in Indiana. OG's hurt. Jalen's hurt. We're going to take the L. I will probably go to sleep. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Our main man, Christopher J, goes Island Fights 83 next week. Pump it up for sure. Maybe we might have to do some kind of Island Fights preview show under this banner. We'll get our boy Devin Adams to talk about the fight. Saudis love Kazmat. Yeah, for sure.
This is what we need to do. We need to just print out like counterfeit Kazmat posters and sell them on Saudi eBay for $500K a piece.
I know. People think we're giving the Dustin. I know you have plans tomorrow to give our Dustin Poirier signed T-shirt away. We should just sell it on the black market, and that's how Fight Bananas will make money.
Is there a black market for MMA memorabilia?
There's a black market for anything. All right. All right, guys, I'm out of here. No more. Stop saying questions. You guys are awesome in the comments. Please, no more comments. I will stay here all day and answer them all. I will. So stop it. Queen, you're the best. Sean, everyone else, you're amazing, no matter how I pick. All right, guys. L. Dawson, I'm out. We'll see everyone Saturday night, guys. We do have a post-fight show after UFC St. Louis, so shout out to that. Lomo's fighting as well. We might have 2 post-fight shows. Tons of content. Tuesday, come back. We have a big show Tuesday. Not allowed to say the guest yet, but could be very big. Very big. Might have to turn the page. So
Queen said if she ever mentions a Diaz fight, just know there will never be any response on this channel. That's not necessarily true. We might be talking about Nate Diaz in a few weeks here.
That is true. Can we drop? Can we say that what we're doing?
What
for the Diaz Masvidal? Can we say that?
Go for it.
Oh,
I don't
so
know.
we're
You're
Elle and
asking
I.
me, I don't know.
We might be in Anaheim, California in a couple weeks. Let's just say that. So there you go. We'll be out there. Chris, I already dropped the clue. I dropped it. If you guys didn't get it or pick it up, go back and watch the rerun of it. I can't say it again. I can't say
You
we're
should
going to turn
rewatch
the page
whole
again.
show.
No. All right, guys. I'm out. No more comments. I'm dead. All right. I'm pushing the button. Have a good day. See everyone Tuesday. Later, guys.